Do you want to increase your course sales? Knowing what your web visitors are doing on your site can give you the insight you need to increase conversions from web visitors to customers. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get the data you need to increase course conversions. Hi, I'm Kim Garnett, founder of Brainy, and we help novice course creators launch courses that sell. So you've crafted your course page and you know that people are visiting it, but you want to convert more of them from web visitors or viewers to customers and students. One of the best ways to increase conversions on your sales page is to find out exactly what your web visitors are doing on those sales pages. First of all, I'd really recommend installing Google Analytics on your Thinkific site or your learning management system site to help you understand your visitors and flow, where they're coming from, where they're leaving. But there's another tool I use to get real-time data. The tool I use is called Hotjar. Now, I also use Google Analytics, but I use these for very different reasons. So let me just walk you through some of the features of Hotjar first. So obviously, their tagline is the fast and visual way to understand your users. And that really does sum up what Hotjar helps you with. So let's scroll down and see what some of the features are. So Hotjar allows you to create heat maps on your sales pages or landing pages or your website or your Thinkific site or specific pages on any of those to help you visualize where people are clicking, where they are moving their mouse around, where they're spending a lot of time on your page. You can actually do recordings of the visitors on your website. So it takes real-time recordings of what people are doing on your website. And we're going to get into these a little bit more. You can also create conversion funnels to figure out where people are dropping off and then figure out strategies for fixing that. Hotjar also allows you to get incoming feedback from people who are visiting your pages. You can run feedback polls and you can run surveys right on your site. So there's a ton of great features. Now, there is a paid version and a free version, but to be honest, I've used the free version for some time now, and it allows me to do exactly what I need from this particular tool. Okay, so once you've set up your account in Hotjar, you have to set up your sites and or organization. So you probably want to click on new organization and add your business name, and you definitely want to click on new site. Now, for this purpose of this tutorial video, we're going to use a Thinkific site because I work with novice course creators and do a lot of work with Thinkific. There's a lot of my students and clients who rely on these videos and updates to learn new information. So we're going to make this specific to Thinkific, but you can use this for any website. So we want to set up a new site now. So we're going to click on new site and we're going to put in the actual URL of your Thinkific site in this case. And then you're going to choose your site type. So this would be your niche or your genre. And then you're going to choose your site owner, and that's probably going to be your organization that you've already set up here. Then you need to say that, yes, I own this site, and click on add site. So you're going to see multiple sites of mine here, but you're probably just going to have maybe your website and your Thinkific site set up as two different sites on here. And in this case, you're going to go into the Thinkific site that you just set up on here, and you're going to click on tracking code. Then you're going to copy this code and you're going to head over to your Thinkific site. Okay, so once you're in your Thinkific site, you're going to go to settings on the left-hand side, and then you're going to go to code and analytics at the top. And that same tracking code that you just grabbed from Hotjar, you're basically just going to put that. So this is what it's going to look like for you. And you're just going to put your tracking code, paste it right in there, and then click on save. On the Thinkific side, this is done, but we need to go back to Hotjar and set up the recordings and the heat maps that we want to use. Okay, so once you put your tracking code into your Thinkific site, you need to verify that it's installed correctly. So to do that, you're going to come back to Hotjar, the same page, click on tracking code again, and you're going to click on verify installation. It's going to ask you to put in your URL again, and you're going to click on verify installation. It's going to now run a little test here to make sure that the code is properly installed on your Thinkific site. And if it is, it's going to say Hotjar installation verified, which is great. So we can just close this now, and we're back on our sites and organizations screen. The other thing you want to do while you're in here is go to settings and down to notifications, and just make sure that your notifications are set up correctly. Okay, when you're done with this, you're going to click here to go back to your site, and you're going to go to heat maps. If you want to have a heat map generated from your Thinkific site, you click on heat maps, and you want to create a new heat map, and you can have up to 3 heat maps for the free version. So put in the name of your heat map here. This might be your home page, and click on next. And then with the basic plan, the free plan, you get 1,000 page views in order for it to create the heat map. So again, if you want to upgrade, you can always do that if you want more page views to get more statistics. Then click on next. So in general, on page targeting, you want one specific page. So for this one, the page URL is going to be the exact URL match. And if you want this for the homepage of your Thinkific site, then you're going to put in that URL here. If you want it for a specific course sales page, that's what you're going to put in here, because you want to know how one sales page is performing or what's happening on one sales page, not across your site for heat maps. Okay, so once you're done that, click on done, and then review and save. You're going to click create heat map. Perfect. So it's now going to start collecting data because you have that code installed on your Thinkific site. It's going to start collecting data now for your heat map. To get that heat map data in a week or 3 days, or depending on how much traffic you have coming through, you can just go to heat map and then click on view heat map. And while there's lots of options up here, the one that I normally use is either the move or the scroll. So this is mouse movement, which is something I like to see. If I see a lot of mouse movement over text, I know they're reading it, especially these red areas. Red areas are the places where there's more time being spent or more clicks happening. Blue areas, not so much, and yellow areas, are sort of warm. So there's also a scroll option here and a click option. So it can produce heat maps based on these different things. So if I scroll down here, I can see that, this is the part that almost everyone visits of this particular page. This, some people visit, but then here people fall off. Now I've just reset my heat map, so I've only had 7 visitors so far with this new heat map. So it's just really gathering data right now. So that's how you create your heat maps, and you are able to read the data for your heat maps. Now let's go over to recordings here, and under recordings, you can set up a new recording. So when you're setting up a new recording, it'll basically ask you, this one's already enabled, so these are the same steps that you're going to go through though when you're setting up your recording. So with the basic plan, it's 100 recordings. With the plus plan, it's 2,000 recordings, and with the business plan, it's 5,000 recordings. And then you can delete those recordings and start again if you want. So I just use 100 recordings. For page targeting, I want it so this is when they visit any page on this particular site, it's tracking that. But if you want specific pages, let's see here. If you want specific pages, then you do have to upgrade to the plus package here. But I actually like to see how people move through this site. So mine is on visit any page. Recording options are, I use the click and scroll sessions. This one here, you could choose if you only want to record sessions that are 30 seconds and longer. But my whole point in doing this is I want to see where they leave. So especially if they leave before 30 seconds, I want to know where they're leaving. So I check this one here. And then make sure you save your changes, and then it's going to start collecting the data for your recording. So I'll show you an example of some of my recordings. So I just reset this a few minutes ago, and there's been 6 people on my site since then. I can see that there's been, 5 people from Canada, and it looks like 2 of the same person, 3 of the same person, 1 other user, and then someone from the States as well. So let's go through this and I'll show you what this looks like. Let's go to this one here, and you can just press play on it. So now it's going to take you to the recordings page. So this is actual data, live recordings of what people did on your site. And it also gives you some info over here. So I can see this is from, this person's from the United States. It was 31 minutes ago. They were on a desktop using the Chrome browser. It was a Mac, and they came from Facebook. So that gives me some data here that's kind of nice to know. Here is going to be your recording. You can speed up your recording if you want here. You can skip pauses as well. Let's go back here. You can have it on autoplay and you could skip forward to the next recording or back to the previous recording. But watch what happens here. This is, as I press play, this is going to show you exactly what they did on this particular page or on my site. So watch, this is really interesting. Something that I didn't know before I actually got into this is that when people are going through sales pages, they will move their mouse along with what they're reading. So I really pay attention to where they're putting their mouse, because it means that they're really paying attention. Like they'll follow this along with their mouse if they're reading that a lot of times. So watch where the mouse movements are. So I can see them scrolling, hesitating, going back up again, and then left the page. So now it's going to go on to the next recording here. So let's see what the next person does. Okay, so I can see this person's from Canada, 42 minutes ago, desktop, Chrome browser, Windows 10. Don't know where they came from. 3 actions. So it shows here that they clicked on my homepage here, and then they clicked on the header, and then they clicked something else in the header here for sign in. So first they went to sign in and then they went to sign in again, it looks like. And if we click these, it'll actually take us there. See, so it shows us that they clicked on the sign in. So let's see what this person did. So they were obviously a student. They were just going there to sign into the site. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, so here's someone visiting the page. They're going down to the courses. They're clicking on that particular course. They're going through to the course sales page, and then they left. So that obviously wasn't what they were looking for. So here's someone that's on a mobile using Safari iOS. And then they left, right? So here's the actions and the notes. We can see exactly what happened. It shows user actions here. And so you can just go through and watch all your recordings and you will find patterns where you're losing people. The recordings combined with the heat maps, I think, is a fantastic way, along with Google Analytics, to really see what people are doing on your site, and then to be able to do some tweaking and test it again, and continue to use the recordings to make it better and better and better. So here's one more. I can see people scrolling through, not sure which button to push. Take a sneak peek, but then they hesitate. They want to see what else is in the course. So that's it. Now it's time to wait for the results to come in. Make sure that you're checking your recordings and your heat map either every few days if you get lots of traffic, or potentially once a week. Go through those recordings, see what patterns you can find, so you can analyze your sales pages of your Thinkific site or even your website. That's when you can really start to tweak and make adjustments to attempt to increase your conversions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out with your friends, and make sure to hit the subscribe button below to get notified when I publish new videos.